Joining us live now is India Today's nikhilnaz. Nikhil, this is one of the most crushing defeats as far as Test cricket is concerned for Team India. And of course, it has put an unforgiving glare and spotlight on the Gambhir era and Gambhir's head coach position. Do tell us what you think about this entire fiasco.
Well, I would have no other words than to describe what the current situation that the Indian team find themselves in as probably the lowest point in Indian cricket. And why is it that I say that? Because in the history of Indian cricket, you haven't had complete whitewashes, and now you've had two in a row in the last 12 months. So I don't think Indian Test cricket has ever gone through a worse phase than the one that we're witnessing at the moment. Coincidentally, it coincides with the tenure of Gautam Gambhir as the coach of the Indian team. Of course, the two series defeats at home that I'm talking about, whitewashes at that, had two different captains. Rohit Sharma when India lost to New Zealand, and now you had a combination of Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant in this particular series. But the fact of the matter is that something really needs to be done. Some drastic steps will have to be taken to course correct. Of course, we heard from the coach come out in the press conference and say that, listen, you have to give them time. This is a team in transition. However, if you look much closely, two things that really stand out when you look at the transition argument. One, when I was taking a look at the total number of test matches put together by this Indian team vis-a-vis the South African team that they've lost to, the Indian team seem to have more experience there. So again, that transition argument, does it hold water here? Not quite. The other thing that comes to your mind is that there have been transitions in Indian cricket in the past as well. Yet you've never had a situation where you've been whitewashed at home. In fact, that was the one thing that used to be very proud of. Indian teams in the past would sometimes struggle in alien conditions, in foreign conditions, but you had a fortress at home that no one could really breach. So much so that famous Australian captain Steve Waugh once said that this is the final frontier. That's how tough it used to be. We've just heard from Kevin Peterson, another stalwart of the game who played for England, says that, listen, during our times, winning a test series in India used to be so difficult, and now any team that comes here ends up winning. What is really happening to Indian cricket? And I think there are various areas of concern at the moment that need to be addressed. And eventually, the buck will have to stop with the coach who has been in charge, whether it is your team selection, which is heavily biased in terms of the white ball players that you've been picking, or whether it is the kind of setup that you're going into a test match where you have constantly changing the batting order. Someone who's batting at number 3 in a test match goes on to bat at number 8 in another test match. I think all of these things have been pointed out by various experts, and that is something that Indian cricket will have to stem the flow quite immediately, as I add, because one WTC final you missed last time around when you lost to New Zealand, and at the moment you're in a WTC cycle, and it seems like India are going to miss out on another WTC final. There's a big gap now before India play another test match series, and so time for India to course correct. Gautam himself has said that, listen, it's not about individual, it's not about me, I'm not important, Indian cricket is important. Whatever the BCCI decides, that should be obeyed by one and all, and I think the BCCI will have to huddle together to find some sort of solution going forward.